the MTDCNC podcast, sponsored by Langley Alloys, unique metals for demanding applications, providing first-class performance and an international service.
Welcome to the MTD podcast. I'm Giovanni Albanese, hosting today's show, a passionate engineer and a very proud member of the MTD team. Today we are going to be discussing the largest yearly manufacturing exhibition, Southern Manufacturing and Electronics. We will be discussing the importance of engineering exhibitions in the UK, and today it's an absolute pleasure to be joined by Phil Valentine, the founder of Southern Manufacturing and Electronics. Welcome to the MTD podcast, Phil.
Well, nice to see you. Thank you.
Phil, I've got so many questions to ask you about the show, about the importance of exhibitions in general, the importance of education. But firstly, Phil, before we get into some of these questions, can you tell me and our audience a little bit about your journey and how you started Southern Manufacturing and Electronics?
Crikey. Went to college in Brighton, business studies. Came to London, predominantly sales and marketing jobs. In those days, there were no educational courses that dealt with events or hospitality, and had quite a few different sales and marketing jobs. And like most people, stumbled across the world of exhibitions. Started at running a permanent electronics showroom at St Catherine's Dock at the World Trade Centre, next to the Tower of London. A couple of years there, and then joined Carla's exhibitions in Twickenham. They're part of the Reed Group, were merged within Reed a couple of years later. But I was the exhibition manager for a big show, took place annually at the NEC called Design Engineering Show, or abbreviated to DES. And that took place every September. So I worked on that for 6-7 years. And at the end of it, decided I wanted to go my own way, move away from company politics, with a bit of a help and a nudge from the company as well at the same time. And from studying visitor trends, and having sort of detailed knowledge of both audience and exhibitors in the design engineering show, there was a pretty seismic shift going on out there. I mean, when I joined, for example, I don't remember having a computer. I think that my CRM was a card box system. And we're going back to days, design engineering days being a show dedicated and linked firmly with design teams. We're going back to an era where the biggest exhibitors were office drawing board manufacturers. The likes of Rotary and Stanford Marsh and such forth. CAD/CAM hadn't even come on the scene then, and of course that was to change things quite dramatically and in a way that technological advances does. So that's, I think, was end of the 80s. That came in, and you started to get dedicated CAD/CAM shows. But my roots were with Des, and the knowledge that I built, it did, going back to the whole world getting a much busier place. It became acutely aware with things like just-in-time manufacturing and lean manufacturing coming on the scene that people were just so busy out there trying to be efficient and competitive that it wasn't just with Des the trend was taking place, but there was a movement away from. I remember days when the likes of Lucas were sending 10 busloads of staff to a show. Shows were, yes, jollies, I suppose, in a way, in those old days, but when things got a lot busier, it was a bit more difficult for companies to send humongous numbers of staff from big manufacturing plants 200 miles away, take them off of production and to go along to an exhibition. So I formulated an idea in my mind about, well, if this is occurring, surely it would make sense to be running events near large industrial conurbations in this country. And that was the premise upon which I started. And we launched I built up, of course, really good relationships with industrial bodies and along with clients and exhibitors, and had a good working relationship with the EEF in various branches, EEF South, EEF Midlands, and who had just started running mini exhibitions essentially in their boardrooms, and they wanted to develop that. And I stepped in and said, "I think I can help you. I'm looking at running a Midlands manufacturing show, which we duly did in March 1993, and there is the catalogue of the first ever event that we organised.
Wow.
It took a lot of finding, but it's there, and that was subsequently followed by this one. I don't know whether the light shines. So that was Manufacturing Showcase South, and that show, the first Southern show, that was the forerunner. That took place in December 1993 at a disused warehouse on the Milton Trading Park estate near Abingdon, just down the road from Cullum Laboratories and AERE Harwell. And we ran the show in there. And that was a pretty harrowing first experience because it snowed. We sort of came back to haunt us. We built an entrance feature out of a marquee, which was about 3 meters by 3 meters. Unfortunately, we got the doors to the marquee the wrong way, and the gusts of wind delivering snow poured through the front door and filled the main visitor aisle up inside the warehouse. It would have been easier to get around that show with skis on, I think, rather than. So that was yeah. So a lot of my sort of old clients from Des days came along, and very quickly after that, we were launching a Welsh manufacturing show in '95, a Northern manufacturing show in '97, a Northwest manufacturing show a couple of years later, and Scottish show, Dublin show. I don't think there's many major industrial conurbations we haven't run a show in, but now we are primarily running Southern manufacturing shows, so that's the main one that we focus on now. Not sure how we ran 6-7 events as a small team in those days. I just don't know how we did it, but we did. But we're much more grateful for being able to put all of our time and efforts into the one event, and I think the rewards are there for everyone to see in terms of the growth of that event and its appeal and its attraction and love in many cases with the market.
Great story, Phil. I mean, I've got some very fond memories of Southern manufacturing and electronics myself from when I used to exhibit there with First MTA Kitagawa Europe, and great memories. Great show, and it's just got better and better with time. What inspired you to start a manufacturing show? And did you expect sort of manufacturing and electronics to grow the way it's grown over the years, Phil?
It took me by surprise. I suppose linking back to the original exhibition that I was involved on, but it's also in my family. My father ran a calibration company for about 20 years from Oxfordshire, so he was always way more of an engineer than I ever was or ever am. But so there were those links there, but there are also links through parents to running events. And as a young, they launched and ran local village fete, just as an example. And I don't know, I must have picked up on it. The excitement people have of in a small village of an event taking place once a year, and I was proud of them in them days for doing that, and the giving aspect of it, I suppose, and that's what I like about exhibitions is what you get out of it in terms of what you put in, and we as a small team and family just get so much out of customer service and seeing pleasure in the faces of the clients that we've helped and enabled them to achieve more orders and more contacts. And there's some nice stories out there. You don't hear it from all exhibitors or everyone, but many people have come up and shaken our hands 2 years down the line, having just converted a lead that they picked up from a show they were at 2 years previously. And I do remember one case, the lady was almost in tears because it meant the survival of their company. And I think it was a big order in the oil and gas sector in Europe that they picked up. And you get pleasure from those things at the end of the day, and that's what inspires us, and that's the thrill that we get out of staging exhibitions.
Are you surprised with the growth over the years, and how important are manufacturing exhibitions in the UK? Why are they so important?
Southern, as a show, out of all of them, its exponential growth was a surprise. I guess conventionally, Southern England was not perceived or perhaps overlooked as a region where manufacturing took place per se. I mean, we could go back to the old days and, automotive industry, Midlands, and other sectors in other parts of the country. And I think it took off because people realise that there's an awful lot of good things going on down here in many different sectors across lots of different technologies. And sorry, what was the other bit?
I think that you've answered that really about the exponential growth, really, Bill. I mean, it has just kind of gone from strength to strength, and I think that, in my opinion, exhibitions are just so important in regards to education and learning and
Oh
meeting
yeah,
people.
for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's all of us in the event sector over the last 2 years have gone through a pretty torrid time with COVID, and classic example, we're attracting 9,000 visitors a year, and for 2 years of our lives, we were told the maximum number we could have in is about 3, as long as they were related to each other. But so that hit everyone hard. But it's also brought home, now that we're moving out of that, the importance of face to face and the difference of putting companies in that sort of scenario where they can meet people face to face, where engineers can see, feel, touch, and get answers to technical questions there and then. These are the big selling points of exhibitions, which will never go away. I mean, the importance of having face to face with someone. You're not necessarily, you've gone to an exhibition, you found what you were looking for. You go away remembering the person that you were speaking to or the company that you saw at the show. But it also sort of brings me to one of the most important aspects of an exhibition is, in my opinion, is that sort of coincidence fact. Most people go to an exhibition with certain products in mind, certain technologies they want to learn about. We put on free seminar sessions where people can learn about new disciplines, learn from experts who are involved in the marketplace, in supply chains, in lean thinking, in lots of different areas. And all of these are put on, and they're put on for with students in mind as well, who you can freely, we get a lot of calls from colleges, bring coach loads of people to the show. But yeah, it's that will never go away. The importance of an event to make a unique discovery of something that you hadn't necessarily gone along to see in the first instance. I believe the term is serendipity, and that's something that I get a massive thrill out of, and that's something I think that Southern does really, really well. It's a massive show representing so many different product areas and serving so many different industries. We don't have highly defined niche product areas in the show. It's companies go within the floor plan and choose where they go to for their own reasons, and it's that, I like to think, that diversity that people can find at the show that gives it that extra appeal and
I
makes
love
it more interesting.
I love that word, Phil. Unexpected discoveries. I absolutely love that, and I couldn't agree with you more in regards
Serendipity.
serendipity. I can't even pronounce it, Phil, but I like what it means. Phil, I couldn't agree with you more in regards to our industry and the fact that people need to feel, touch, and see the products. Um, it's just so important. We work in a digital company, and we can promote and educate products digitally. And obviously, this is also extremely important to educate engineers around the world about what products and technologies are available. But we're still very fortunate that within our industry, people still need to meet people and talk to them about the new
Yeah.
technologies and innovations, and to learn about what the unique selling points are. It's still a very
No, I completely agree with it. I
yeah.
completely agree with you, Gio.
And I'm looking forward to visit the show in 2024. What are your best experiences from the show in the past? And why would you encourage more engineers to visit the show in 2024? What's changed?
It's continually evolving. It's it is a representation a representation of the directions in which we are all going. We are all busier than ever, but it's that one shot under a roof for 3 days where you get an opportunity to see this broad span of products and technologies that you can learn about, the ones that the things that are going to be influencing how we make things in the future. um, it's invaluable from that perspective of learning for anyone who walks through those doors for the first time.
I think it's education, like we mentioned, Phil, is absolutely key in every area. It breaks down barriers to entry, and it encourages investment. It gives people confidence to invest, and I think from a networking perspective as well, it's always been a superb show. What kind of footfall are you expecting to see in 2024, Phil?
With the good indicators of where you're at and what we term as pre-reg. So we've started the campaign 3 4 months ago. Um, Pre-reg is currently, I think, 10% above what it was last year, and that's those people that have gone online, pre-registered to the event to get um, their QR code badge in advance. Based on those assumptions, I'll be looking at anything and would accept anything between 8 and 9,000 over the course of the 3 days at the event. We are factually going to be one of the biggest shows we've ever been this year, with currently in excess of 460 exhibitors. So we've increased 10% on last year's what we called net meterage of stands within the show. So again, a full program of seminar topics on site, over 2 seminar theatres. And I think one of the biggest indicators I find of shows is just looking at the effort that's been put into stand builders as well. And we're seeing far more purpose-built stands at the show that have that make the show more attractive. I've received more inquiries this year for banners over stands. So companies are really waking up to the importance of standing out from the crowd amongst all the other exhibitors there, and it adds for a better event and a more interesting event, in my opinion.
I agree. I think as well in this current climate that we're in, there has been a lot of doom and gloom on the news. It's kind of a perfect storm in regards to interest rates. So it's not money's not cheap anymore. The price of energy has gone up, and investment has gone down. So I think that I would strongly encourage everyone to visit the show in 2024, and we're looking to cover the show as well from a digital perspective. And for people that can't attend, I mean, you mentioned, back in the day that they used to take hundreds of engineers from manufacturing plants to the show. That doesn't happen anymore, but we can get the show to them digitally. And I think that investment is key. And I think that, in the UK, we should be the masters of our own destiny in regards to manufacturing. And we really need to step up, really. And I'm looking forward to have some good conversations myself when I visit, Phil. What would you say to any of our audience listening, in regard to why they should visit and why they should invest their time to visit next year?
I don't think there's a better way of investing your time. Making the trip down there, and as I said before, seeing this broad spectrum of products, some which you may not even realise that could have applications within your company or plant. There's the design teams, production teams, engineers, machine toolists. There are answers to all of your needs and product sourcing requirements that your company may have now or may have in the future. Some answers and ideas to solve problems, which is a traditional area that all exhibitions fulfill. It's I was going to say it's a massive jumble sale, but it is a big event that offers so much, and to anyone looking at getting involved in manufacturing or looking at getting an awful lot of inventors these days that are looking to understand who can supply what, and whether it be electrical, mechanical, AI, or sustainability, or composites. It's all there. It's printed circuit boards, subcontracting. All of these different areas are represented by major key players, not just from this country, but also from abroad. And it gives that good insight, particularly for those that are getting into engineering for the first time, who are starting out in life on their college courses and want to learn more and perhaps see their destiny in that sector. Perhaps there are those that don't see their destiny, but certainly by coming to a show like that, they will give them a really good understanding of where potentially they can apply themselves in the future.
No better place to promote UK manufacturing, in my opinion. The show is on from the 6th to the 8th of February 2024. And like Phil's just mentioned, lots of different technologies, innovations that will be exhibited. Manufacturers section, electronics section, OEMs promoting their new technology, but also end users that you can talk to and learn from. And not to forget design and manufacturing section too. Phil, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you this morning, and to learn a little bit more about your background, your history, and about why you started in the exhibitions industry. Phil, any last words?
Look forward to seeing you 6th to the 8th. There are no marquees. we are under. We were fortunate enough to be the first exhibition to enter Farnborough International Exhibition Centre's new hall, which was back in 2017, and it's a revelation not to have to look above your head, looking at the roof, and you'll know this from your own experiences and watching that wobble. And so it's a great centre, a great exhibition venue. It's a brilliant location. In terms of people, whether they're driving from London, South Coast, Midlands, or even flying into the airport, which the venue looks out over. So we look forward to seeing you all there.
Phil, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Cheers, Joe.
The MTDCNC podcast, sponsored by Langley Alloys, unique metals for demanding applications, providing first-class performance and an international service.